My name's Terry Clark-Ward and welcome to 5 o'clock. Have you ever wondered why foreigners come to live in Poland? Well, on this program, my job is to find out. Wrocław is a city with character that runs far and wide. Today I ventured out of the city centre to the leafy suburbs of Biskupin to meet today's guest. But before I do, let's go to the clue table. Before we meet today's guest, let's examine these clues. The first thing we have is a microphone. So could this person be a singer or maybe a public speaker, a stand-up comedian? The next thing we have are a set of books, and they're by the same person, so perhaps this person is an author. The next thing we have is a dollar bill and an F. What the F? That's in Florida? I don't know. We also have an ID card from a university, so maybe he's a really clever guy. And the last thing we've got, well, I'm a little bit confused about that, actually. Drunk Hulk? Do you think you know who the guest is? Well, let's go and find out. Today's guest is American writer Christian Dumais. Welcome to 5 o'clock. You're originally from Florida, and I know that most people in Poland dream about living in a hot country. So in Florida, do you dream about living in a cold place, and that's why you've come here?
Well, I'm from Florida, but I have lived in Philadelphia, I lived in Pennsylvania and New Jersey, New York. So I've had some experience living in cold places. I prefer living in a place where there are actual seasons, not just summer and kind of summer.
How did you end up coming here to Wrocław in the first place?
I was offered a job, a teaching opportunity, and I was sitting in a typical kind of corporate environment where I wasn't feeling very satisfied. And I thought, if I don't do this, if I don't take this job, I'm going to be stuck on this TV show that's just going to keep repeating itself.
Not this one, obviously.
No, definitely not this one.
Many Americans do Europe. They come here and travel around.
Sure.
Are there many Americans here in Wrocław? Is there much of a community?
I'm told there is. I mean, this is a great city for international kind of communities. I saw statistics showing that there was quite a big American community here.
You're not deeply engaged?
I'm not deeply engaged in the American community.
Okay, that's why you've come here, probably.
Pretty much to get away from that. I mean,
all right.
Yeah. Especially in Florida, because Florida is like this kind of reservoir tip on the bottom of the country that collects all the crazy people.
Okay.
And
English ones.
Yes, and a variety of different kinds of crazy, and it just just to kind of come to Europe to get away from that.
One of the things that on the clue table was a microphone. Why is that important for you?
Probably because I enjoy being on stage as a public speaker and doing numerous different kind of events. I'm hesitant to use the word stand-up comedian. As a stand-up comedian, I don't feel I've reached anywhere near close to 10,000 hours that I feel you need in order to be to call yourself that. But for the sake of of it, yes, I am a comedian on stage, a stand-up, and something I love doing and really enjoy doing here.
But I'm also inspired by what other people do. I was reading in the news in Germany a couple years ago, somebody stole 5.5 tons of Nutella. 5.5 tons of Nutella. I remember reading that article and I was thinking, I am not living up to my full potential. Can you imagine the end of that movie, by the way, that heist, and all the guys are sitting on the beach eating their Nutella? We did it.
Would you say there's a big difference between Polish sense of humor and an American sense of humor?
I would say so. I mean, the first thing is just even in terms of teaching, here you have to kind of minimize your use of sarcasm and irony. I feel that that can be kind of a detriment to communication. But yeah, I would say so. But my humor tends to be very kind of irreverent and kind of pop culture driven, and what's happening in the news, and so I think that's a little bit different kind of in terms of sensibilities.
Have you done many stand-up comedy shows in Poland?
In Poland, yeah, quite a bit. Happily so. So I had a show most recently in Krakow, but most of the shows tend to be in Wrocław. I've done Warsaw, I've done Poznan.
So you've done like the whole 9 yards?
Yeah, world tour.
As well as being a stand-up comedian, you're also a writer.
Yes, and that's what I am most proud of. I've written a few books and done lots of different works in different genres, whether it be fiction, non-fiction. I am a writer.
Well, tell us about, what the hell is this about?
For good or for bad, I think that I'm most known, despite doing numerous different things, I'm most known as Twitter's Drunk Hulk. At the moment, he has about 175,000 followers, and
wow,
it's pretty much as it is.
And what's he drinking?
Yeah, it's everything to make it work. But it's written in all caps to emulate him screaming, and it's essentially the Hulk as we know him, except he's drunk.
So would I be right in saying that Hulk is used as a figure to comment in a satirical fashion about political events in the world?
Definitely. I mean, in many ways, the Drunk Hulk was essentially retired over a year ago, but I kind of brought him back.
And I know that the Drunk Hulk has been actually quite visible in the press, and some famous people have commented on how they like. Can you tell us about that?
I mean, that's been a real treat. I mean, so a lot of writers I admire have chimed in, like Peter Straub and Neil Gaiman, and people like chefs like Anthony Bourdain, who's a big fan, and it's actually gotten me a lot of recognition. And of course, like in Poland a few years back, Lincoln Park was here in town, and it was discovered that they were huge fans of Drunk Hulk. We're also reading in the news about a woman who broke into her house. She was really drunk, and she breastfed a strange baby in the house, and they arrested her. But I should think it's a real shame that people are just too proud to accept free food.
Other than that, you're also a husband and father of 2 children.
Yes, my crowning achievement.
So what's it like raising a family in Poland?
Well, I think raising a family anywhere these days is difficult, as you know, as a father yourself. But, you know, I have twins, a boy and a girl, so it's double the work, you know, double the fun.
But is that inspired by Star Wars?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I told my wife we're doing this for Star Wars, and
Luke and Leia.
which came up, but it's been great. You know, raising. This is a great city, I think, for families and for raising children. You know, we talk about living here. I never imagined. I wanted to live in Europe, but I never imagined Poland. Poland was really never in my top 10.
Yeah.
Nothing personal. It's just that, you know, Americans, we think Paris, we think of, you know, London or something.
Is that something to do with how Americans learn geography?
Might be, definitely.
Yeah. So just watch this clip and you'll find out.
Polish people love to make fun of me and Americans because we don't know geography. And, yeah, I know. Yeah, you showed me. But here's the deal. Look, we learn geography. We just learn it differently than you do. Okay? Polish people are like, oh, well, where's Zimbabwe? There. Okay. All right. You guys know everything. Fine. But in America, we learn geography, but it's different. So let's use this example. I'm a teacher, and I'm teaching a student geography. Okay? We'll start. Where is Poland on the map? Student goes, here. No, that's Russia. Now Poland. Okay, we'll try something easier. Where is England? There. Great. Excellent. Where's Germany? There. Excellent. Where's Japan? There. Excellent. Where's Korea? There. Excellent. Where's Vietnam? There. Good. Excellent. Where's Iraq? There. Excellent. Where's Afghanistan? There. Excellent. Now where is Iran? I don't know. Okay, you'll learn, don't worry.
As well as being many interesting things, you're also something which is clearly interesting too, a university lecturer.
Yes, I am. Yeah, that's the job I came for, and it's the job that's pretty much my full-time job that I do. And I have the honor of working in different universities and teaching English to some amazing students.
Well, are you ready to walk and talk?
Sure, let's do it.
Christian,
Yeah.
we've just been walking over Grunwaldzki Bridge.
Right.
Why is it an important place for you?
Well, it's not so much the place itself, but it's the symbol of it and what it represents. Because there's a lot to talk about in terms of the actual construction and the actual design.
Right.
The Bish Bridge, they started building it in 1908 and they finished it in 1910.
2 years?
Yeah, it took them 2 years.
That's quick.
And the thing about it is that the main engineer, he passed away in February of 1910.
Right.
The bridge opened in October of 1910. I'm assuming because of the timing of his death, there's this one story that keeps coming up where essentially the story behind the bridge is that the designer, the engineer, killed himself right before the bridge opened.
Okay.
And there's two versions of the story, but the more popular one is that when the bridge was opened, that the emperor was going to be here and that there was going to be a huge parade over the bridge. And they were going to also be rolling out tanks. And there was a concern that the bridge wouldn't be able to support all the weight.
Right.
And out of fear of the bridge collapsing, of course, the engineer killed himself.
Okay.
And of course, dramatically, if this were a movie, he would be doing it the night before.
Right.
He'd hang himself on the bridge. It has to be on the bridge, of course.
Is it a true story though?
Probably not. But
Okay.
but what I like is that the story exists. It's a story that people tell, and what I love about it is that it's 100 years later, and it's still here. And so it's just that it's an achievement, and yet it's just that this idea that the engineer had to have killed himself. And 100 years later, you and I are standing here, we just walk over it and we can talk about it.
So Christian, has this bridge been a source of inspiration for you? Has it ever appeared in any of your writing?
It has, as a matter of fact. Yeah, I wrote that's how I know pretty much about the history of the bridge, because I researched it for one particular story I wrote.
Okay, and where can we see this story?
One day, I haven't published it yet, but I'm hoping it'll end up in an anthology for maybe next year.
It's now time for a little challenge, and we are going to challenge our guest today to make something typically Polish. Now, what is it going to be? Christian, do you know what it is?
I still don't know how to call it.
He doesn't know what it's called. It's called kogel mogul.
Nazywam się Krzysztof Matuszkiewicz, z zawodu jestem cukiernikiem, a dzisiaj dla Państwa przygotuję kogiel-mogiel z syfonu.
So, let's start.
was a real delicacy.
It was definitely
Yeah.
unique. Definitely
Very
unique.
nice, very nice. So it was that rich, smooth texture of
Yeah.
egg yolk,
Yeah. And
together with the delicate, powdery form of icing sugar, mixed together, clockwise, anti-clockwise,
Sometimes, yeah.
left hand,
Yeah.
right hand,
Yeah.
from the top, from
a little bit of
underneath,
everything. Yeah. Yeah.
finding the corners in the circle,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes I do kind of like a half circle.
a half circle.
Yeah.
Ah, clever, clever. Krzysztof showed you how to do the half
Well,
circle.
he was really hard on me.
Yeah.
I really, you
Yeah.
know, he didn't feel I was committed to the
Yeah.
task, and he really kind of took over.
Well, he doubled the revolutions. Christian was like doing that. He was like, "Give it to me."
Yeah, he didn't like my technique.
Yeah.
But that's okay. I'm not the professional. He is.
But the result was really delicious,
It was
wasn't it?
excellent.
So that was a special Coggle Moggle by our guest Christian Dumais. Let's get philosophical.
Okay.
Just like Ludwig Wittgenstein, we have to sometimes reject things that have happened in the past and think about the future. So, in the 13 years that you've been here in Wrocław,
Yeah.
what things have you learned?
Well, I think the lessons that you do learn are more personal. And the initial one I learned was is that by being here, I feel like I'm a better American.
Okay.
Right?
A better American because you're not in America.
Right, because there are certain things about who you are as a culture or nationality that you wouldn't understand by staying home.
Okay.
And so by being abroad, in a better sense, I understand who I am.
Would you like to go back to the USA, to go back to the life that you had 13 years ago?
I think that comes up normally. I can't imagine that possibility at this point. I mean, once you reach 13 years, I mean, particularly in the last couple of years, I just kind of realized you reached that kind of point of no return when you consider the possibility of returning home. But then you have to consider the fact that your friends have moved on, they've gotten married, they have children, there's no sense of job that you had waiting for you, and that everything's changed.
Everyone's older.
Everyone's older, even though you don't
as well.
perceive, right, but you don't recognize that I'm older too. Right. You imagine exactly what it was, 13 years ago. By being in Poland, you also know that you're never going to be truly one of them.
But I mean, when you came here, perhaps you came like me with a rucksack and just a little bit of money. And now you've created a whole life for yourself. You've got a wife, you've got children, you've got a great career ahead of you. Wouldn't you say now that you're actually part of that culture and actually developing culture?
Yes. I mean, well, first, just to back up, when I arrived with one suitcase and an email that said I had a job, I look back at those moments as just how incredibly naive I was, because I just had an email. I had no sense of where this place was or anything, and it's just a promise that there was a job, and it all worked out. Wrocław has been amazing, and it's something I still cherish the city, still love it. But of course, by being here long enough, that you create kind of almost like a third sense of culture, like beyond you as an American and beyond the ability to be Polish, you create something new from that. And that adds kind of a new kind of texture and flavor to this incredibly complicated culture and this incredibly complicated city that we live in. In a way, I'm kind of living the American dream in reverse, just like my great-grandmother who had moved to America from Italy with literally nothing and built a life for herself. I've been able to do the same in Poland. And so I'm living the immigrant experience, I'm living everything like that, the American dream, if you will, except it just happened to be in reverse. And it's kind of cool.
So it just shows that in Poland, some amazing things are possible.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
And I'm sure, like myself, you're planning to stay a little bit longer.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Well, I think your story is a very warming and endearing story for anybody listening, watching this program, that they're going to be deeply inspired.
I hope so. I appreciate you saying that.
You've been a great guest. Thanks very much, Christian.
Thank you.
The longer I stay in Poland, the more amazed I am by the people I meet here. See you next time, at 5 o'clock. Do you think you know who to... Do you think you know who to... Do you think you know who today's guest is?
It's rolling.
What is that? Anyway.
Finally, on this bridge, when is it going to be painted?
Oh, tell me about it.
Looking at it now,
I know.
it just needs a little lick of paint there.
A little bit.
A little bit. Just a little bit. Welcome to 5 o'clock. Yeah?